Alabama at Oklahoma. How we feeling about this matchup? Oklahoma won the first game
Yeah.
in Alabama on
Mhm.
Alabama's homecoming. So first, let's talk about it. We're all former players playing a team twice. I guess me and TJ or Vance ain't really had that experience, but anyway, how has that? You got to win games to play teams twice and shit.
Yeah, well, we just
Oh
never did it
damn.
in the same
Damn.
season, but we
Oh
played
damn.
teams
Oh damn.
twice. It was
Okay.
never in the same
Okay.
season.
Wow, so
Yeah.
that's kind of tough.
But just talking about it from a postseason perspective, Josh, I know you can speak to it more personally.
Oh
What's it
yeah.
like facing a team twice in the same season?
Yeah, shout out to Vet. Um, I think the biggest thing is, there's just such an advanced level of familiarity. Obviously, film. It's one thing that, especially late in the season, you have 10 to 11 games worth of film, but seeing how you look on versus a particular team, I think that's the biggest advantage that you have. Like I said, running it back with another team. I checked the betting line to confirm this. It's wild that you named all these factors in terms of how Oklahoma got their win in Alabama. A homecoming, PWI homecoming don't count, don't matter, but it's still another layer. And if you go to these sports books, these sports books, Alabama is still favored over Oklahoma to win the game, despite being the lower seed and having lost this game already. So I think the biggest thing for me is kind of how we just talked about with Tulane and Ole Miss. These are not the two same teams that met, with in Tuscaloosa. For better and for worse for both teams. I think that early year John Mateer that we saw pre-injury, I would assume that he's fully healthy at this point, but he just proven to be a little bit more of a boom bust guy than I think we originally anticipated. And Ty Simpson has become Jared Goff. He's really, really good when you can protect him, and he's really, really bad when you cannot, which is not the guy that we saw go win a game, or help win a game at Georgia. So I think that the biggest thing for me, but like I said, it's crazy to confirm that Alabama is still favored. There may be some man alignment. OU's in the SEC now. Maybe some embedded SEC bias with the original squad. But I think that Alabama, with all this stuff going on with the board, with just the general pride of the program, and then honestly, I think that how I've kind of viewed OU this year as a team that they're in the rank, they're solid within the top 10, but I think of them as an actually good team, not really. I think that even Alabama hasn't been great this year. They got a better win than Oklahoma has, and I think that their ceiling is much higher than this OU team.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm rocking with you, but Vance, what you got to say, man?
Nah, I'm definitely not rocking with you. The season began. I went to you guys. I said this season is going to be based on the trenches, and as y'all see, the best teams right now. Indiana's the best team in the trenches. They're undefeated. Oklahoma was one of those teams I put up there with them, and they can actually handle the physicality from Alabama, and so that's why they won that first game. And Alabama, you tried to say like it was early in the season. This game was played 2 weeks ago, so it's
Okay.
not that like too much of a difference. I feel as if Oklahoma they have the more of the they can play the control game. Alabama's a little bit too finesse as they moved on into this new Kalen DeBoer era, and so they can be more physical than Alabama and win this game. And now they have home field advantage. I just see Oklahoma churning out another. They won by 2 points last time. They're probably going to win in overtime. It's going to be close to a churn out game. The first to 20 points probably going to win this game. I think that's going to be Oklahoma.
Well, I don't think any. I mean, that you say that, I think that that's the biggest thing. That's my question, and I don't know if Jamil is supposed to be back for this game or not. I think TJ Don, the little freshman they got, is baby Bo Scarborough. 245 pounds to wrap up even in the little teenage body. That's not easy. And we've kind of seen this. I feel like I've seen this Alabama offensive line just gain a little bit more continuity as the years gone on. And outside of Mateer, off schedule plays, Alabama OU has had some backs pop for different games. But I don't think I've seen the consistency in the run game for them that, like you kind of said, leans toward, like they are definitely a grinded out ball control team, but they don't do it with a good run game. So it's kind of a little delineation for me.
Yeah, and I feel you on that point because Coming into this game, Oklahoma is 108th in terms of offensive rushing attack. But talking about where these two teams differ, even though this game was just a few weeks ago, that game did not have one R. Mason Thomas. And is, in my opinion, one of the best pass rushers in the country. He will have a say in how this game gets decided. And if you look at Ty Simpson, as you alluded to, he's not very good under pressure. Over their last three comp games, not counting that Eastern Illinois game, Alabama is 2-1, and in those games, two of those Ty Simpson was held below 55 pass completion percentage. So you think back to that first Oklahoma matchup, a game where they sacked him four times. I can see that number becoming even larger this game, especially considering Mateer kind of building that rhythm. Obviously, he threw four interceptions against LSU, but that was also his best passing production game with 318 yards of the whole season. So I think this Oklahoma offense will be able to get the points necessary to kind of put Alabama in that hole and let their pass rushers dominate and let Brett Venables do what he does best, and that's win games on defense.
I kind of want to go what you just said about the interception thing. To me, watching Oklahoma this season, like at least offensively, and I would be qualified to talk about this. They have been a hard watch offensively, strictly from the standpoint of not playing a full game. They have probably at the height of their firepower, they might have peaked higher than any other offense with the big plays with Satania and Robinson, but the rest of it is bad. When Mateer is not turning, like Mateer turned the ball over, he he's not been good under pressure. The only reason that we don't, you know, point and laugh because he's very athletic and he can extend plays. Like Ty Simpson does some backwards helmet shit under pressure. Is like, damn, we saw a Ty Simpson that we talked about. He could win the Heisman. We saw a John Mateer that, we thought could win the Heisman. We've also seen the versions of them too. Like, damn, get ready to work at the dealership. So I kind of struggle with who I would go with on this game because I've seen things from both these teams. Are like, damn, wow, that's very exceptional. And it's like, you see the version of Oklahoma that gets in a dogfight with LSU, you're like, Jesus. You see the version of Oklahoma that was duking it out with Ole Miss. That was a phenomenal game. I don't know if any of y'all brought that up, but so I will not say that they're not capable of lighting it up. I just don't know. And with Alabama, Ty Simpson has been a problem and not in a good way. We have seen that version of him as like, okay, damn, they had him on the bench the whole time. He probably should have played over Milrow. And then you're like, oh, well, that makes sense now. So the last few weeks he's been off target, he's been off schedule, he's overthrown wide open guys. They could have beat Oklahoma. He made a lot of bad throws. The Georgia game, I think he was off too. I think this is an old-fashioned quarterback battle because of the ups and downs, right? You have guys who are not consistently leaning one way or the other, but they have so much power in their hands because they have, weapons at their disposal, and we have seen what they can do, but we've also seen what they are capable of. I just don't see Oklahoma winning this game as much as I would love them to. I just can't see them winning this game just because of the higher highs versus the lower lows. Yeah, Oklahoma has had this phenomenal defense, but week after week watching them on ABC, just 3 quarters, 2.5 quarters, have no idea what to do on offense. I'm willing to bet that 80% of Bama's offensive struggles are Ty Simpson related. Now, can that be fixed? Maybe, maybe not. Is that in them? Is that a scheme thing? Who knows? But the offensive issues with Oklahoma, like it feels a lot like whack-a-mole. Like I haven't been able to say like, oh, they can't run the ball. Well, a lot of teams can't run the ball. Bama can't run the ball. LSU can't run the ball. Like that's not the be-all, end-all in college football. Okay, well, they're having trouble moving the ball passing. Well, the quarterback's all over the place. Well, both teams have that issue. So I'm gonna go with Alabama. I'm thinking something that's like super nasty for like a quarter and a half. And then they get in rhythm with Jeremy Bernard. Bama has the 2 best players in the game, probably on offense at least. I would say Bernard and Williams. And I think we've forgotten that. So if they can get those 2 going, as good as Oklahoma's defense is, they don't have anything for that. Now, if they can get to the quarterback, that might be the medicine that they need. But if they can't, he can sit back there and dice up that like we've seen him. I think they'll be in for a long afternoon. Or is it this game's at night?
Yeah, I don't even know what time this game is.
Okay, yeah, that says vibes about this type of game. But I like Alabama to get back on track. Yuck. But I just think if Ty Simpson shakes back, and from what I've seen, I think they can win this game, and I think they can win the game convincingly at some point, not the whole time.
I think I'll say as a signal before we move on, unless, it's a truly unexpected outcome, Alabama will never be truly out of this game because of that high ceiling that you have with Simpson, Bernard, and, J.J. Miller is back. And like I said, Baby Scarborough. If Alabama goes up 10 points, I seriously doubt that OU is going to be able to get back in this game. So I think that's probably my biggest thing, that Alabama is always, and then Ryan Williams still does exist apparently. That's an X factor. So I think that Alabama's quick strike ability, and I think Simpson being, even with his struggles, a better thrower of the football than Mateer, just gives me, he's like a box. They'll have a puncher's chance unless OU's run away with this game. But OU seemingly has those pillow hands with that weak ass offense.